Welcome to CruiserCast, where we interview some of the most influential people in tourism from around the world. My name is Graham Watson, and I'm the founder of Cruiser Global. The word cruiser means a new dawn, and in 2023, we want to find out just how our guests are working towards that new dawn. Join us and subscribe to future episodes as we hope to inspire you with stories of strength and resilience in the tourism industry. Welcome back, listeners. It's Graham Watson here on CruiserCast. Today's guest is Paul de Waal, who many of you know as the founder of Wetu, the itinerary building software. Welcome, Paul.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm honored.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thanks very much. So, Paul, basically what I do in the podcast, if you can just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you got into tourism and like specifically, obviously, how developing the itinerary building software ideas came, and basically right back to the start of Paul de Waal's career. Off we go.
Yeah, well, I'm not quite sure how I got there, but I'm an engineer. I studied civil engineering at UCT, and I worked as a civil engineer for about 4 years, but got a little bit bored. I'm quite creative, and it wasn't making me happy. Yeah, I knew I needed to move. Yeah, and then I started looking around. I'm also a problem solver. Everything I look at, I say, no, but this can be done better. And I got pulled in by a friend to get involved in a travel company. And then I just, coming from an engineering background, starting to understand tech and seeing in the late 90s and early 2000s, starting to see how tech was the ability what that tech gave you. And the travel industry was quite backward. So I was looking at the opportunities and to speed up and help the travel industry. So I just kind of got drawn into the travel industry. I started going to Indabas, and one of the things at Indaba that drove me crazy is I'd collect discs. And first was brochures and then discs, and I'd walk around, I'd come back with 200 discs. I'd open the disc and I'd spend hours trying to get the right information and put it into the right format. And then I still had to try and send that information overseas. So to me, the content model was broken. I just said, actually, content sells travel, and the better the pictures and the better the videos and all that sort of stuff, and the better the information, the easier it is to sell. So really what the idea of Wetu means ours in most African language. And the idea is just let's create a place where the industry can load up all the information and everyone around the world can access it. So if you get a property sends you information on Dropbox or hands a disk or flash drive, it's still in a format that requires a hell of a lot of work manipulating it to use it in your marketing material. And then the agent's got the same problem if you're the DMC. Yeah, so content was a huge problem, and there's actually quite a simple solution. All the suppliers put it in one place, and everyone got it from one place. That place is, so you know where to get it. It's organized. Every property is laid out exactly the same way, and it takes out from something that's almost impossible to. It puts all that information at your fingertips. And then I think the second thing is, now that you've got all the information in one place, how do you publish it? So yeah, for a property, you need a brochure. So we've got iBrochures. Then for the DMCs and agents needed to produce itineraries. And that's just a collection of information. So now that we've got all this information in one place, we could say, I want to go to this hotel, then I want to go to that hotel, and I want to go to that hotel. And it could string it together and basically produce a digital itinerary, which is a personalized website for every trip. And then this thing just grew into apps and all that sort of stuff. So it's really, the concept of Wetu is simple. It's using, I'm a big believer of collaboration. Yeah, if everyone's working together, yeah, and if one person does it, why must every single travel business sit there managing content? Yeah, actually, let's just simplify it, put it in the middle there. You can access it and just make that job easy. So that's the basis of Wetu, and then it evolves, and the channels you have to deliver the content into, the types of contents are evolving, and technology is evolving, allowing you to do a lot more with that content. So yeah, it's a fun, exciting space, and yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been a hard journey to convince people to go digital. Trying to convince them in the late 2008, 2009 was hard. But yeah,
Mm.
after about 4 years of hard work, grinding away and wondering whether this is ever going to take off, it took off quite quickly. Once we had got to a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember first coming across it in 2011, I think, when I was working for a luxury tour operator in Los Angeles. And then I saw it there and fell in love with it, and then realized, oh my gosh, this is a South African company, which was even better. So yeah, I've been an advocate of yours for 12 years now, and it's a great system. I love your eye brochures. I love the fact that you can also edit your own content, or edit the content that's there to personalize it. Yeah, I mean, it's just a great platform. I'm sure many people have seen the product without even realizing it is a Wetu product. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think we don't mind it. I mean, we it's a B2B tool, so yeah, the idea is to enable the people in the industry to make them look good. We don't the end client doesn't need to know about us. Our
Yeah.
clients must take the glory.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's the true the true entrepreneurship there. It's just you develop something for someone, and they run through it there. So apart from well, actually, I won't say apart from, because COVID has been the biggest challenge I think in anybody's faced in the in the tourism industry. So we can talk a bit about how you help the industry. I know I spoke with Rudy yesterday, Rudy Wagner, and he mentioned you as one of the people that kind of did what they could to help the industry when all the bookings stopped and all the the income just ceased. And I said, yeah, well, great. I'm interviewing you tomorrow, and we can talk a bit more about what you did during the pandemic, because I know a lot of people were very grateful, and how you moving forward, and if it wasn't and what other challenge have you faced, like prior to 2020 in the startup?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think first of all, when COVID hit, yeah, I saw it coming. And I had a bad feeling about it, and I just watched the map just start growing, and then it hit South Africa. It was always going to happen. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that first. I remember, and then we were like, "Oh my gosh, it's here!" Yeah,
but yeah. So I mean, look, I think when we did this thing started, we realized this was almost a crash. Yeah, the money was going to stop flowing. So we early on decided, I think in March, not, I think during February, March, I think April, we just said, listen, we dropped our fees down to 50%. I think, we knew we could see what was happening, and we understood the pain our clients were going to go through. And I think we just took a decision. Actually, this is the right decision. I think we hoped it would last 6 months. We didn't think it was going to last 2 years. So yeah, I maybe would have made a different decision. But look, we're in the travel industry. Our technology, our whole ethos is that we enabling the travel industry. We're there, we're supporting them. Yeah, our clients, a lot of our clients are our friends, and it was only right for us to upfront just offer that. Yeah, so I mean that is what we did to help our clients, and yeah, I think we'd do it again. I think COVID, there's a hell of a lot of bad happened in COVID, but I think there was some good. I think prior we had lost a bit of control at Wetu. Things had been growing really, really quickly, and we were sitting at about 85 people, and then COVID hit. Really, so I mean, yeah, look, I think we had grown a lot, and the previous years had been chaos, and we threw a lot of people together. So we looked at COVID as an opportunity just to relook at everything we're doing, and make sure that and give us a space to think about the future. So really, that first year or first 6 months of COVID, we sat down and we kind of imagined where we want, and also gave us an opportunity. We were needing to rebuild a lot of the foundations of Wetu. We had started in 2008. The technology we started on then was the best of the time, but things have changed. So now there's AI, machine learning, deep thinking, all this sort of stuff. and we needed to be able to use that in the next 10 years. So we took the opportunity to kind of reimagine what the tourism industry is going to look like in 10 years' time, and what tools we're going to need to offer our clients. So that was actually a really fun opportunity to have the space and time to reimagine travel, and at the same time we started planning for the rebuild of the foundations of Wetu. So that's the good side of COVID. I think it was challenging because we still had 85 people employed, and we managed to keep them. There was some attrition during the 2 years, so I think we're sitting at 65, but our dev team's the same size, which is a relief.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, yeah, that's not even, what is that, a 20%, which is a lot better than other businesses. So well done on that. Can you tell us, like, particularly about the integration tools? I know you and I, many years ago, we looked at integrating it with some of the booking systems that are on the market today. So that's another option too, is that you don't need to do it on a separate. You don't need to do your booking and then where to on a separate itinerary. Is that you can do it all in one system? Is that correct?
Yeah, look, I think we need to make the whole thing simpler. So we're needing to integrate with, there are lots of different technologies around the industry, and we are definitely trying to help link those technologies, because we need to make it as simple as possible for our clients. So I know Tourplan's the big guy in Africa, and actually probably through the world. They've got probably 400 plus of the top clients. So we started working with them probably 10 years ago, and we've got over 100 companies integrated with Tourplan. So we spend a lot of time with that integration and maintaining it. So, I mean, the guys you will know are I think Wilderness, I'm not sure about Thompson's, but and Beyond, TourVest, all those guys use Tourplan, and they're using our integrations so they can access our content, and they can build itineraries in their pricing technology, their quoting technology, and it automatically produces where to itineraries. Yeah, I think we know that you need a high quality itinerary. It needs to be that is able to convert, but you also need to do things. Speed is important. You need to do things quickly. So, those integrations make a huge difference for a Tourplan client. We are able to help them provide quality outputs at very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, definitely speed to market. I think anybody that's worked in a consultant role like I have done too, it's the end user wants their quote within hours, and when you're sitting as a consultant, and that's the thing, especially across time zones. That's another problem where I've worked, as I say, I worked in Los Angeles. So by the time I got into work, some days everybody in South Africa had gone home, so it was difficult to get answers. So that's why the speed is very important. When you go to a lot of exhibitions around the world, is that your main, you getting people on board from all over the world as well? Is the technology very easy to kind of integrate? For example, if a company that's listening focuses a lot on the Caribbean or South America or America or Australia, wherever in the world, you've got a lot of hotels, and it's also a seamless process with that. Is that correct too?
Yeah, look, I think that's been. Yeah, I think we started in Africa, and we almost proved the concept in Africa, and then because the agents are seeing it, they started asking, "Can we do this for South America? Can we do this there?" All the different places, because they said this works very well for Africa. Can you help us do it for South America? And we have. So yeah, we've got a big client, quite a big client base in South America, and we've got 5 people in our office there. So I think the big things that by putting the content in, unlike these other heavy systems, you're able to come in and you can sign up with Wetu, and you can almost use it immediately. It's got all the destination content. It's got a lot of the supplier content in. If it hasn't if you haven't got if the supplier content isn't in, we've got teams that put it in at no cost, because we're just building our database kind of bit by bit.
Yeah.
So we're there to support them and make it as easy as possible for them to sell as many regions as possible. And I think the other thing that's helped the international growth is I think we provide our itineraries in, I think, 13 or 14 different languages. So that also allows us to be used in Portugal, Spain, Italy, I think even Russia. Not much business is coming from there. So it's been, I think, Europe as well. I suppose we Dutch and Flemish and I think even Nordic, some of the Nordic countries. So it's been fun.
Yeah, it's great. It's been great to follow the journey. What without giving too much away to any competitor that's listening, what's in the pipeline? What's new and what's new and hip and happening at Wetu? Have you got some exciting things that you're looking at rolling out in terms of all the new stuff? I mean, that's the beauty, I think, of living in the 21st century. Just when you think you got it all, something amazing comes along, like AI and 3D and even 4D and stuff like that. So what's coming up?
I think 2023 is going to be a fun year. I think so. We started rebuilding Wetu. So to understand, it's a massive job. We've got 12, 13 years of itineraries. We've got over 50, 60,000 itineraries being built every month. And we've got years and years of it. So we've got millions and millions of itinerary. Each itinerary has got huge amounts of data. We've got all the hotels and all their information. So it's a big system. And so we set up to re-architect the way we hold data, structured data on new servers on here. So we're changing everything, but without hopefully the client will never know. I mean, they'll know when it's done. And I think in the next month, we're migrating all the data across into the new systems, and the things we've been building for the last kind of 2 years. Well, then will be launched. So initially, you won't see too much changing, but because we're on different architecture and the way we structured it, we'll be delivering a lot of new functionality very regularly. So there's some exciting new things we'll hopefully be launching in February. And then I think it's just hopefully it's going to be feature or functionality rollouts, a lot. So I think the time we took when COVID hit, we spent a hell of a lot of planning on what we're needing to do. And we put all the foundations into that, and hopefully those will be we'll be reaping the rewards of all that hard work. I think, I'm excited. It's required huge amounts of patience. We thought this was a job will take a year. It's taken us 2.5 years.
No, I always say there's an IT sort of universe and time, and there's everything else universe and time. It's very different to IT projects. It's because you're always, I think, discovering almost why, just before you get to the end of the project, all of a sudden there now comes along a better way to do it, and you have to integrate that as well. Yeah.
No, look, I think we're lucky. We fortunately got somebody, our CTO came from the gambling industry, which handles big data. They do huge amounts of money in that, and they're on the forefront of marketing and just because it's a big industry. It's so we're bringing all his learnings from there into Wetu, because essentially, the way I was listening to a talk at WTM, and I really liked the way they were explaining things. So if you're a hotel or you're a driver or you're something, you in tourism and you've got a product. If you an intermediary, an agent, a DMC, a tour operator, you're actually selling information. They say you're actually in the information business, because you have to get that information in a way, deliver it to them. So it is quite a nice way of positioning it.
Yeah, yeah,
But actually, you have to be. So they said what to be successful in the travel industry. Yes, if you're a hotel, you need to deliver the, the final product. But if you a anything DMC agent, it's all about information. The people who manage information, the people who use in the future AI, machine learning, are going to get ahead
yeah,
because that's perfect for information. So, like his advice for people in the travel industry was, look at yourself as a information and business, and
yeah,
not
yeah.
as a as
Think
a travel
ahead.
agent or tour operator or a DMC.
So how far away am I from putting a VR headset on and going on to where to?
I mean,
Toying with that idea, I'm sure.
I've always wanted to do one just for fun,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure how. I mean, well, it'll work. I mean, the first, there needs to get to a certain point of groundswell before it becomes useful.
yeah.
I think what's going to change the industry more is is AI. I think when we
Mm.
went to WTM and I went to the talks in 2019, it was about AI, but people didn't they didn't have any examples.
Yeah,
But they said, "Listen, AI is coming. You've got to take it seriously." And like you say, show me something, and it's coming.
yeah.
Now I think you're starting to see what it can do, and I think we're at the infancy of AI. So if you think so, like I went back to when we started Wetu in 2008. The iPhone was launched in 2008. There was no Airbnb. I think came in 2009.
Mm.
Spotify wasn't there. Uh, Nothing was there. I mean,
Yeah,
what's the other way? So all these big companies, and that's 12 years ago.
yeah,
Or
exactly. And
kind of
it's
just
yeah,
over 12 years. So major, and I think that change is going to speed up, not slow down. So I
yeah,
think I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years time, but
yeah.
it's going to be different. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I'm such a tech geek as well, so I love all that kind of stuff and thinking about what's coming. Yeah, interesting.
yeah. So I mean, I think so. Our stepping back is actually so. What I liked about that, it's all about information. We had that's what we're building. So we're building the foundations to hold and so every time somebody touches something, you see how long they looked at a picture. You can measure everything because then you
Mm.
can start giving that back to your users. So
Yeah,
it's kind of exactly what Facebook does, exactly what all these other things. We need to start using that better in travel. So we're having to put down the foundations that will, because it's all about content and information. So we're needing to manage that content really, really well, and we need it. And then we also need kind of to use it well. So it's really the foundations we've been building are going to allow us to, so we allow us to grow in the next 10 years. We couldn't do it with the old system.
mm.
It's just, technology over 12 years, technology changes.
Yeah,
So
it's amazing.
essentially, we might still look like when we launch the foundations, we might still look the same. We might look like that Beetle. It's a little bit battered up, but actually we've got a Porsche engine in it, and slowly
Yeah,
we'll start changing the lights and changing this and polishing the hubcaps, and it'll start growing. But the important thing was get the foundations in place. So
yeah.
I think that's not a very good metaphor, but it kind of
No, no. Well,
that's where I
yeah,
feel we are. Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. I mean, many years ago, I mean, my colleagues that I work with, I'm like an app. I always look for a better way to do things, and that's why I've always enjoyed where to. I've got a like a catchphrase: if it takes too long, you're doing it wrong. And I always and then I promise you that almost every day, if I'm doing something and it's taking me too long, I think to myself, there has to be an easier way. Someone's invented a better, easier way to do this. And I search and I go online, and sure as eggs, I find a better and easier way to do what I've been doing, especially when you're working with Excel spreadsheets and I mean, you just go online. There's so much ways, as you say, with data that you can use data to its best ability. But if you I mean, there was a funny story of somebody that
that somebody saw adding up like a whole column in Excel, like using a calculator and adding it all. They didn't realize there was an auto sum function. So it's for me, it's that kind of stuff too. It's if it takes too long, you're doing it wrong. And I remember in 2011, we were still the company that I was working for. We were doing itineraries on Word, of all things, Word, and typing up today you will be collected at, and then trying to slot the pictures and the images, and Word's not image friendly, so it's sliding around images to the place you want to go to. If we had Canva, it would be different, but yeah. And then when I saw Wetu, it was like an amazing, because you just literally, it takes, what would you say? It takes about 10 minutes to do a 2-week itinerary. If you know what you're doing, if you know where to find the product, I don't think it takes much more than that.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that the speed is important, and I think, it probably might take. I haven't done it for a while, but it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. And yes, I think we can even speed that up. I think hopefully we will speed that up. Yeah, and then I think we've also taken a lot of time in the client journey. So understanding if the guy is starting to so a client journey is just information. Yeah, at certain different parts, when they're looking to buy, they need certain information. When they're just shopping around, they need certain information. Yeah, at the point of wanting to book, they need different information. And then between booking and traveling, they might want different information. And during the trip, they need different information. So really, the customer, the traveler, is just dealing with information until such time as they're on the holiday, and then they're back with information. So through that whole journey, how do we provide the right information at the right time? So the way I look at it in the future is itineraries. When you get the first itinerary, it's light and it's attractive. When you're starting to get closer to the buying time, and you want the pricing, you want detail before you push book. And then as soon as you finish, you book, then it's actually about what you can do in the destination. And get you excited about traveling. And then in destination, you have to help manage their trip. And then post destination, you must try and get them to refer and to talk about you. And so it's that whole journey, but really it's just information, and then the traveler engaging with information along the way. So we looking at that and seeing how we can kind of automate that, trying to really understand the customer journey that the client goes through.
And output's only as good as input, so therefore it's really up to the suppliers to keep their information updated with images and text, and then so that's a good thing as well. If there's anything new, or they've got new photographs, go in and update the Wetu. That's something that it's all, because the consultant wants to know that all that new information as well. If a supplier updates their content and it's already out there in an itinerary, that updates too, doesn't it? Past itineraries. So so it automatically updates the digital version.
Yeah, look, I mean, the nice thing is if you load a picture or you've got a Wetu profile, you load it up. Any itinerary that's out there changes. Changes any brochure the brochures that are out there. So it's a live system. And then what a lot of people don't know, we've probably got 200 companies that get the information from us. So when we've got the content API, so when we load up the picture in Wetu, we instantaneously update websites all around the world.
Amazing.
So, for instance, TourVest when you upload a picture in Wetu, you're actually also uploading it into TourVest and into a lot of these bigger companies. So that content that gets put into Wetu, gets a long way. So it's very important that the supplier, keeps their content up to date. I think one of the things in the Wetu system, we put a lot of effort into suppliers in the early 2010s, and then kind of the itinerary builder and the outputs kind of got the focus. Part of the last 2 years is really putting the supplier back into the middle of the picture and producing products for them that will ensure that they keep their content up to date and just add a huge amount of value to suppliers, so that kind of Wetu becomes a no-brainer. So I think, there's a lot there we can do, and I think I'm looking forward to, in kind of 2023, adding a huge amount of value from Wetu to suppliers, because I think at the moment a lot of the value is for the DMCs and less so for the value for the suppliers on a day-to-day basis. I think we add value, but not on a kind of day-to-day basis when they're doing their jobs.
And what you, obviously your own tool helps a lot of people be productive, but what business tools do you personally use to help you be productive during the day? Is there any apps or sort of things that you've come across that help you kind of just be a bit more streamlined in what you need to do, but automated?
I mean, so I'm a bit of the dinosaur. I'm one of the oldest guys in the office.
Really? I wouldn't have thought that.
But, I think we use, obviously there's Zoom, there's Slack, there's all these different systems, okay?
Yeah.
And you fall in love with them and you don't want to change. But I think last year we went through a massive process of moving everything into Microsoft. So it's a bit frustrating because there's Teams and there's chat and there's everything that Slack does, Microsoft does. It's everything that Google does, Microsoft does. They do it slightly differently, and some are better than others. They've got their meat, so we don't need Zoom. So just actually getting it all in one place. So if I'm in Microsoft, then I don't. It's a protected bubble. So because we strive to be GDPR and POPI compliant, we cannot send an email with our client details because it's not secure. And then if you do, that person has to look at the details, and if he prints it, he has to shred it. It's a legal nightmare if you want to comply with GDPR if you're moving in different systems. But the Microsoft system is GDPR compliant. So if I share a document through Microsoft, if I don't download it onto my computer, but I work on it, on that live version, it's GDPR compliant. So I think it's going to become. I think we're starting to understand GDPR, and a lot of people don't take it seriously. But I think it's going to become more and more important in the future. So having a single platform that it never leaves, doesn't go from Slack to Microsoft. Because then there's it's moving systems, and there's two places it could fail in terms of GDPR. So that was a big reason we've moved everything onto Microsoft. And yes, there's a lot of moaning, and yes, probably I prefer Slack than the chat. But I think the package of the whole thing, it's just making everything more efficient. And the fact that it's one place. You've got one login, you've got one this, just kind of. I think that's where the efficiency sits. There's a hell of a lot of good technologies. It's actually using it, trying simpler ways of using it. And if you've got 3 different types of tech, they all have to talk to each other. If you've got one place where it all happens, it's a lot easier. So I think a year ago, I wouldn't have thought I'd be promoting Microsoft, but I think it was a big step. We had to do it, and I think that's created huge amounts of efficiencies across the business.
I agree. I fully kitted myself out with Apple products for the same reason. I wanted everything just to, come on my watch, my phone, my laptop, everything, and that's the way it's worked out. And funny enough, OneDrive as well on Microsoft. I love it too, because even my 10-year-old daughter loves it, because she'll go onto granny's computer or daddy's computer, and whatever she does, it'll appear on her computer too. So it's definitely I agree with you. I think streamlining and using one system where everything just updates. I suppose the downside of that is if someone gets in, then what? But cross that bridge when you come to it. Like if the wrong person opens the door, But there's ways and means to prove that as well. Prevent that. I mean, let's let's get a bit philosophical here. Let's pretend we're on a campfire out in the African bush at 2 o'clock in the morning. What is the last 3 years taught you about yourself? I can think of a lot of things that it's taught me about myself in terms of resilience and all that kind of stuff. What do you think? What did you learn anything about yourself in the last 3 years that you perhaps didn't know? It came to the fore, and you thought, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, look, I think the first thing is I think we're all highly stressed.
Yeah,
So it drove me into actually trying to manage yourself, and understanding more how you work and trying to manage that stress. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind pills, but I think there's
yeah,
better
yeah,
ways to solve problems. So trying to, live healthier and trying to,
yeah,
whether it's exercise, talking about it, meditation, all that sort of stuff. So it drove me down that little hole. So it gave you a little bit of time. You're sitting at home,
yeah, yeah,
all that sort of stuff. So I think, I grew there, in terms of
yeah,
growth and kind of, getting to know yourself a bit better and how you operate. And really that was out to just manage the stress and manage the drama of
yeah,
day-to-day COVID life. I think, yeah, I thought I didn't like routine, but I actually quite like routine. I think,
yeah,
when you're sitting at home, still in your slippers and dressing gown at 5 o'clock in the
yeah,
afternoon,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
realize I need routine just to get up and, and manage my day. So,
yeah,
as soon as I could get back to the office, I was back in the office. So I like quiet time. I like working in the quiet, but I like the routine of the office. It kind of breaks your day up. It's not just,
yeah,
wandering around your house, getting distracted by all sorts of things.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of personal growth through it. Yeah. And I think I'm trying to think what else.
No, I think you've pretty much covered it. Yeah, I think a lot of people learned a lot about the true character, and hopefully most of it was positive. Because it kind of made us have to, especially in the hospitality industry, where if you didn't lose your own job, you knew people that did, and there was a whole bunch of survivor's guilt happening, and all this kind of stuff going on. So I think it taught mental resilience to a lot of people, physical resilience, whatever. So I'm always trying to look at the glass as half full, and I think if we can all take the past 2.5 years and build on what it taught us, I think it'll jet rocket the human race into a whole new realm. I think as you say, like so many things were developed when people had the time to, and now we're seeing the massive growth, as you say, and things like AI and all that kind of stuff. So I think maybe if COVID hadn't have happened, people wouldn't have just had the time. Everyone would have just been going through their daily routine and didn't have a chance to step back. When you've mentioned a lot of what's coming in terms of things like AI, but do you think I mean, if you had a wish list, if you could think of one thing that would blow everybody away, whether it's being developed or not, what would you still like to see change or come in your field, in the itinerary building field, or just in tourism in general?
Yeah, I think travel it's an interesting business, and I think it's made up of millions of small businesses spread around the world in different countries, different geographies, different times, different languages, different cultures, different
Mm-hmm.
ways of operating, and everyone's on different technology stacks. So I think travel is complex in that sense. And one trip, a bunch of Americans coming on a holiday to South Africa, no trip's the same. And they're dealing with 30 plus suppliers probably at the end of the day, and every supplier, and every trip is different. So it's actually quite a complex industry. So I think the efficiencies, I think the technologies enable us to be efficient in lots of different places. The efficiencies are going to come on how those different people work together. So, like, we got it down to building an itinerary in a matter of minutes, okay? But how the supplier engages with the DMC, and the DMC engages with the agent, and the agent engages with the client.
Yeah.
The times in between all that, and so I mean, trying to get an itinerary out right, you want to get back, but you're waiting for this lodge and that lodge, and they've asked if there's air conditioning, you email them to see if you can get the air conditioning room. All that takes time.
Yeah.
So how do you? So basically, to make the real advantages in the next 10 years, it's actually finding ways to make the times dealing between the people. Condense that. Yeah. Because the tools are there to speed you up, but the tools are there, somebody on the other side of the world. You're at their kind of, not beck and call, you're on their timeline.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, just cut out the length of time it takes between each part of the chain. That's very true. A lot of people, I don't think, realize when they're at the kind of, so the property who got the request doesn't realize that there is a DMC. The DMC has a tour operator. The tour operator is a travel agent. The travel agent has the client, and the client is ultimately the one making the decision. So when the property is kind of chasing up 3-4 days later as to, is this booking happening, there's 4 or 5 different people in the chain that has to actually get through to the final traveler to make the mind up. And if we can find a way to lessen that time, it's that's interesting. Yeah, but I think that's more of a human thing rather than a technology thing, because
I think so. Yeah, like, are we looking at how we can help those engagements? Yeah. So kind of, I mean, when we look back and we said, listen, where the next efficiencies in travel, that's kind of the place where we said, actually, what can we do here to help?
Yeah, I mean, if I had like a wish list of what I, as a traveler, being the bloody tech freak that I am, like, if I had a Wetu itinerary, I would want, and it says your driver's coming to fetch you, I would want to be able to track that driver on the day. I want to go into my itinerary in the morning, see what the weather's like, the news around me, find out where my driver is, all that kind of stuff. So there's so many things that I mean, it's just, but I mean, obviously that takes a lot of time and development, but ideally, I think that's what all Elon Musk is looking at too with this X.com. He wants everything in one app. But wouldn't that be cool if you just had this one app where the DMC, the ground handler, feeds into your itinerary that the driver's 7 minutes away, and you can track him just like Uber or whatever. So I don't know if that's something that you've even thought about, but that would be really cool.
I think so. There's amazing technologies out there. I mean, the problem is, how to build it. I think everything you said, I think I agree with, and we've discussed with people along the way. So it's not that easy. So
I can imagine.
Uber and and are multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar companies. Hundreds or thousands of developers. So for somebody in the travel industry to go and do that,
integrate,
difficult. I think it's there are ways, but and I think it's actually what's going to make travel harder is this GDPR. So everyone has to opt into everything. So you're not allowed to track somebody on the So in the old days, I think you could have an app and you just track them. Now you have to tell them if you're tracking them, and people don't like being tracked.
No.
So you always have to turn location on or off, and you try and keep them for as many apps as you can. So it's kind of, if you aren't a trusted app, how do you? People don't like being followed, but so you have to try and.
I just wish I just wish there was a way for people like me. I mean, I don't care about that because I'm doing nothing wrong. So if I'm doing nothing wrong, I don't care who's tracking me or where I'm. You know what I mean? It's like maybe there should be a sort of an anti-GDPR where we say do what you want. We don't care. And you sort of opt into that. So yeah.
Opt into the apps you trust and add value. If it doesn't add value, don't opt in. Yeah. So
Yeah.
No, look, I think things are heading in that direction, but that killer app at the end is almost the end of the
line
evolution. Yeah, it's hard. So I mean, if the taxi driver's he's not in the app. Everyone has to be in an app.
Yeah.
All have. If everyone's not. If you're missing people in that
chain,
in the chain, then it doesn't work. Yeah, and then it actually lets the client down as opposed to helps them. So for now, everyone's got Uber on their phone. They know how it works. It's got payments linked to it. So just it's easy. So they're using technology they can use. Yes, it would be nice if it came in. So we've also kind of got, do we build our own? So you got a navigation on your app to get to the place. So you could build your own one, or you just pass them on to Google.
Yeah.
Takes you there. So, and Google has spent billions on it. So let's not reinvent the wheel, but hopefully there are ways of integrating it better.
Yeah. It's but again, it's I always think when for me personally in my own business, I just think the greatest human accomplishment started as one idea, so whatever we've wanted to go to the moon, or we wanted to, I don't know, every single great accomplishment or achievement that a human being has ever done started with, why don't we do that? So it's so it's been a great chat, Paul, and I think that you've got it's exciting times coming up. I think anything in the technology space, it's if you look at my investment portfolio, it's all just tech stocks. So I really do love it. So if anyone's listening, how do they get in touch with you if there's a supplier sitting anywhere in the world, not just Africa? It's kind of an easy email address, isn't it? paul@wetu.com.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you're very welcome to get hold of me. I mean, there's or info@wetu.com. Or the web, just go to the website. But I'm very happy to field calls and emails. I enjoy part of the job. It's nice to think you're important and be the CEO, but actually the part of the job I like is in dealing with the clients and the people.
Yeah, absolutely, and that all important beer at the function pub. Yeah. That's where a lot of the deals are made, I think, at the bar. But so I mean, thanks so much for your time, Paul, and we'll be following the journey of Wetu with very keen interest. And we just thanks for being on KuzaCast. And anything else? Any last little things that you wanna tell the listeners before we close up?
Looking forward to your podcast on marketing and how it's changed, because I think Wetu is a marketing solution. I think, as we were discussing before, marketing is very different. Lodges I speak to used to fly to New York and go and see everyone at the offices. There aren't any offices, so you can't go to everyone's knock on everyone's door. So I think marketing has changed. It's one of the big things I didn't think so, and then the more I think about it, it's changed a lot. And how we market, the old way of marketing is not going to work as well. I think trade shows have become more important because that's the opportunity to actually get face time.
Yes.
So I think it's funny. I thought trade shows with the internet were dying. I actually think, with work from home, they're coming back. So I'm looking forward to your podcast with somebody, a discussion on marketing.
Absolutely. We'll just keep following. Industry. I've got a lot of rep companies that I'm going to be interviewing. I'm presumably a lot that you would know. So just keep following the podcast and listen out. It's there's some very, very interesting people that I've got lined up and have already interviewed business owners. So just keep listening, and you can gather some pearls of wisdom from some of the greatest minds in the industry at the moment. So that's pretty cool.
Forward to hearing from them. I'm not sure they got too much today, but Graham, thanks for inviting me, and thanks for doing this. I think there's it's nice that you're in the forefront and
trying new things.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And good luck.
Thanks, Paul. We'll catch up soon.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Paul. Ciao.
Cheers. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into KuzaCast, where we explore the world of tourism with leaders from all corners of the globe. Join me, Graham Watson, for future episodes as we dive into the latest trends and insights from the industry. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating, and we'll see you next time on KuzaCast.